The Unholy Trinity Podcast. 3 Blues, 3 Opinions, 1 Everton Podcast.
Welcome to episode 14 of the Unholy Trinity Podcast, where this week we bring to you our transfer special.
I'm really thankful. Since day one was like love at the first sight.
And to start things off, I'm delighted to welcome a cult Everton Twitter hero, I'll say, in Andy McGregor, better known as El Pavote FTBL. Andy, welcome.
Thanks very much for having me.
Anything
See you, mate.
Anything you want to say to your multiple followers on Twitter? Tell you?
No, just nice to be with the lads, great lads so far. So yeah, I'm interested to get chatting. Yeah,
it's great. It's nice to come on. You know, we've been looking to get a few people on, and you were definitely one of the first names, to be honest with you, to come on. And what you speak on Twitter is a lot of sense, where sometimes you don't see a lot of sense in the current public domain when it comes to football. So thanks for coming on anyway. And I think the only place to start when it comes to transfers is there's been, since we last spoke a few weeks ago, we last recorded, there's been a little bit of movement, but the easiest place to start is with this one, which has come from left field, really, in the imminent arrival of Fabian Delph. So Lee, you can start off with that, because I'll come in a minute with what I've researched on.
Yeah, not a problem, mate. Well, I'll throw mine in straight away. Then I think it's a good signing, or potentially a good signing. Sorry, because he's not obviously signed yet. I know Pete's on my shit with this one, but I think he will bring 29. So he's coming towards sort of maybe slightly post prime, but he's a natural leader. I think as an individual, he's a natural leader. I think he's a winner. He's been in that changing room now for a few years. I think he's technically sound as well. Technically, he's got a nice left foot. And I think he's also, I know people are saying he's not been playing in midfield for the last few years, but I think he's also a little bit versatile as well. And the fact he can play obviously left back and holding mid, really. So for me, for that sort of money in today's age, I think he'll bring a natural leadership to that team, which I think, by the way, it desperately needs, judging by some of those results last season, like the likes of Newcastle and things like that, where we clearly needed someone to sort of step up, almost be, dare I say it, Phil Neville type, and just basically getting people's ears, reorganising everything else. I don't know what you think, Mike. I do know what you think.
Is he is he the type though? We all know what Phil Neville was about when he came in. I don't like to compare with these kind of players because they're totally different. Gareth Barry, I wouldn't compare to him. He's a totally different player. Is he a leader for me? Because there's a clip on Amazon on the Man City show that they had where he's chirping away when he's in the changing rooms. Doesn't make anyone a leader for me. He's 29 years of age. I don't doubt the lad's ability. I don't doubt his credentials in terms of what he's won. He's been part of a fantastic Manchester City side with great players, with a fantastic manager. And if we go back sort of 4 years ago when City got him, I would have gone, yeah, I'll have him. Because I think we were at the time we were linked with him. I thought, yeah,
Leeds didn't want to deal with us, did they?
Well, he went to Villa, didn't he? Leeds, Villa, and then Man City. I would have said, yeah. What do we think he offers? He's definitely going to come in now. He offers, but he's probably a squad place for me. And if he accepts that, then absolutely fine. But I don't know. I'm unsure. I'm unsure, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, lads, whether it's a good potential signing or not, does this depend a little bit on whether Idrissa Gueye is staying or leaving the club?
I'd say it doesn't. From what I've heard, that it isn't going to be dependent on Gueye. I think if we do sell Gueye, which the club doesn't want to do, I think we'll bring in someone else. I know people have the reservations about Delvin, as probably seen on my Twitter. People saw that at first. I was a bit deflated because it's Fabian Delph. But when you stick, as I say, the analytical hat on, you think what can he add to the side. Morgan Schneiderlin's a good player, and he's on £100,000 a week to be a backup. Now, that obviously fans don't want to think of the money, but he offers that like sweeping position from the back four. He clears things up. But in terms of you want to be a progressive side, we are one of the sort of more progressive, faster. We get the ball pitch faster than anyone else. So like Fabian Delph with that range pass, and which Sheridan's alright. He'd be a good addition in that sense, and someone as a backup for Garner. And as people said, some experience, he's won things, the mentality as well. So he might not be a great leader. Obviously, people say about the clip about on Amazon, he looked great there. Say he's not a leader though. He knows what it takes to be consistent week in, week out. Yeah. There's a run-in, we're trying to win trophies. He's got that experience. How many players have really got that experience in the Everton side at the moment that have won things consistently or won things? Point. Gomez, he's won things at Barcelona. Wasn't really part of the the first team who was winning things, but he was in the squad, so still the same thing. And when we get into Europe, we need players with European experience because it takes teams. If you look at Man City when they first went to Europe, say they got into the Champions League, and that's a bit far off for us maybe this year, who knows? But when you first get into the Champions League, it takes a couple of years to sort of get up to speed with how to play in Europe and that experience, and then players bridge the gap, and I think that's where he can help us really in that sense.
Do you think from an Everton perspective we could learn more about Fabian Delph from his England performances? Because Gareth Southgate really seems to rate him and has given him a lot of responsibility, hasn't he, in that sort of holding role?
Yeah, he could do. You're right there, because he does play in the position I think he'll play for Everton, is in midfield, like you say. Because in a Pep Guardiola team, when you're playing as a left back, it's more as a inverted sense of midfield, and you play deeper really, because they tend to step in off the touchline, they're adding to possession. Man City have the ball 70-80% of the time. That's not going to happen at Everton. So he wouldn't be a left back who's trying to get up and down the line. It's more of a centre midfielder. So in a sense, England would be more of a barometer. You look at him for City though. He's good passer of the ball. I know they've got a lot more options, but we do play like sometimes a bit more direct. He would be able to pick.
He's got a forward pass in him.
You watch him. He clips lovely balls over to Sané on the touchline and stuff like that. So he can add something to us, and I think. It depends what Marco Silva and obviously Marcel Brands want to look at players who are, obviously fit the side, but also, I know Brands has talked about the 26 and under, 19 to 26. If you look at Brands' history, he has brought in older players, especially at PSV, Andreas Guardado, who plays for Mexico, obviously, and Daniel Schwab, who's a German player, and Hector Moreno. They all came in 27, 28 to have that little experience to get them over the hump. And I think that's what he's doing with Delph. I don't think he's a first team player. I know that was your concern, but I think he is. I've
got more concerns, don't worry.
And he also allows us to play 4-3-3 as well again, because he can also play in different multiples. Box to box midfield, he plays a holding midfielder, so he offers us options really. Yeah.
Not everything can be a mould signing, can it? Everyone's obsessed with this mould now. It's got to be in a certain age group, going into your peak years. It can't always be about that. And I think at times, generally last season, we were soft in a few games. And I think someone like him who likes to tackle as well, I think you need that. You need that in the
early on in the season we got bullied.
We did in a few games. We generally
especially did. Always seems to bully us really, because the very physical team Watford did with Corey and Kapui in that game. I think it was a Wednesday night.
Remember that? Yeah, they did. We went 1-0 up in that, didn't we? And then they just bullied us.
That is a concern, I think, for Silver and Brands, that they need to get a bit more physicality in it. I wouldn't probably, if I had the choice, if I was Marcel Brands, I probably wouldn't sign Fabian Delph. I'm not saying he's a bad player or anything like that. I don't understand why they would sign him. I am a firm believer in looking for players under 26 would sell on value, but at 8 million, you can't really get.
Yeah, for 8 million nowadays, that's nothing.
They were done 45 million today, Leicester.
Let's say Garner does end up going, right? Because let's be fair, if PSG come from, I think he'll want to go. And as I said off air, then I genuinely think what he gave us those last sort of few months of the season, he deserves every right to be given that. The opportunity. He wants to play. Yeah, he was absolutely outstanding. And Silva's improved him as a player. He was carrying the ball more. He wasn't just literally winning the ball back. He was actually being progressive with it as well. But I think there's a few other players out there. I know you're a fan of Sangare, aren't you?
Yes, a big fan.
He's supposed to be the next up and coming sort of big thing in that sort of position itself. Yeah. What do you know about?
So we remember Sangare, 6'3", long-legged midfielder. He gets up and down the pitch. He can play 6 as well. Really, Marco Silva's talked about having that 6. We can play that as well. Good range of passing. Plays in a really poor Toulouse side though. So sometimes he plays these lovely balls, and then there's really poor players like Johnson. It is difficult for them because they are really, but they produce a lot of good players. They've got a couple of good players. Amian Sidibe as well, who's another midfielder who's a good player. And Ed Diop, who went to West Ham last season. So it is a good place. I think you look at his numbers, he could average nearly 4 tackles a game, 1.5 interceptions. So it's not the same as Garner, but it's not too far off, what I mean? And he'd add that physicality, 6'3", strong, a bit well built. So that would be a nice sort of sign. You basically trade a 30-year-old then for a 21-year-old, someone who's on the up, someone who'll have selling value in a couple of years. So that'd be my choice.
How much do you reckon he'd be now?
I think 22, 20 to 25 million. They're looking for something in the similar age. No, you're losing a 30 over 35 million and then getting him in.
I think that's a concern with some Everton fans. I love it. He's a guy, and
everyone does.
You can't argue with what he's done, and those last 6 months last season, from sort of January onwards, he was upper level again, wasn't he? I thought.
And how often did we say on this podcast he didn't have his head turned, did he?
Never.
And he didn't spit his dummy out.
And he said again, didn't he, the other day, he got brought up with him again before they played the semi-final, and mentioned about the PSG link, and he said, listen, I'm away with my country. My concern and my focus is playing for my country and trying to win this trophy. If it's still there when I've finished, then it could be looked at. He's not one of those like Lukaku who goes away and talks about nothing. But
all the Belgians.
Well, they do, don't they? It's like it's like part of the disease within the Belgian camp, isn't it? They all discuss moving and transfers and what have you. He doesn't do that, and you've got to respect the man for that. And then the concern is obviously we know what he gives us, and we know how pivotal he is to our side. And a lot of people are linking this Delph signing to replacing Idrissa Gueye. I don't believe it is. We're all in agreement in that. Fabian Delph, nice little staff here. Missed 60 games since he's been at Man City through injury.
Yeah, that's a worry.
Concern.
I must admit that is a worry. Yeah, if you're going to be, but then again.
He's fit all last season, to be fair. But I looked at Dybans. He'd been injured a couple of times every season for 5 seasons. He has.
Are they same injuries as well?
Little muscle things. He had a knee injury early first, and then he had a couple of minor injuries. I think with Fabian Delph's injury, I think that's why 8 million's not bad. I mean, my only concern with Fabian Delph was, of course, the contract. 3 years, 80k a week. In the 3rd year, it's going to be difficult to get rid of that contract. But if you are going to, say for example, we are going to lose Garner, it is nice to have that player like Delph who's experienced in the Premier League who can play those games. If you do sign a Sangare, it sort of bridges the gap. You don't have to rush Sangare into the team. That's
you know what you're getting, don't you? You just need a better end period. You know what you're getting.
This is the important thing. I've got my concern with Fabian Delph. As soon as he puts on a blue shirt, a backlash. It's as simple as that, and it's just the manager. That's just Marcel Brands, and it's a very valid point that if you do bring a young kid in who's 21 like Sangare, then you're going to need that little bit of moulding around. Obviously, you've got Andre Gomez who's 25. You've got people like that. I expect probably McCarthy's going to be gone, isn't he? Snadden, another one, who could be gone. So I do get that particular point, but I think again a Sangare kind of signing needs patience from the fans. He's a young kid. He's got bags of talent, but we've got to make sure that we stay on board.
Do you expect him will go in for that this window?
Yes.
So if Garner leaves, obviously we'd replace him, but are you expecting us to go big for another,
like a Sangare type,
another centre
midfielder? Well, if you get 35 million and then you've got a Sangare at 20 million, it makes sense from a financial point of view. I think Brands has already got a list of players. He plans using 2-3 windows ahead. So if you've got he's got a list of probably players to replace Garner, whether that's now or another season, 2 seasons. They'll obviously come down in the sense of when it is going to be. I'm unsure whether we're going to let Gay go this window. I'm still 50-50. I know the club probably doesn't want to. It's a bit late in the window now for them. I think we would have touched base with clubs if we were looking at the players, but it is late in the window. And I think unless PSG knock our socks off with a 40 million bids, we're going to say no.
Because Tuchel came out, didn't he, with some comments saying that Everton are trying to price him out of the move.
And that's
fine. Leonardo doesn't want him. There's supposedly an argument between Tuchel obviously wants Gay, and I can't remember. Leonardo wants a different player, whoever it may be.
Right.
So whoever comes out, that's trying to struggle. I suppose it's got to be cost effective for PSG, but there's a bit of news here. They will be selling Neymar in the next couple of days to Barcelona.
Is he going back to Barca? Is he?
He's going back to Barca.
Griezmann, Neymar.
Yeah. So and then I think Coutinho, maybe Umtiti or Dembele going the other way, and then they're going to send money. So they'll have money, so they will be able to sign players again. PSG, but whether it's Gay, we'll see.
The thing is, for me, as much as I know we all love Gay, look, he's obviously he's a fantastic player, great attitude, everything else. There's games last season when we played teams, the sort of so-called lesser teams, that would come in, especially coming to Goodison, and then basically sit off the ball and go like breakers down. And I think sometimes when Gay plays, sometimes with Gomez even as well, I think we lack that little bit of midfield there that someone can break that side down.
Lines, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think as good as he is, sometimes I think he almost semi-inhibits us as well if we're playing a team where we have most of the ball. You know what I mean? Because he's not the most creative, is he? And Gomez is really
if you look
the
at
same.
that last season, there was games, as you say, like that where basically had midfielder Gomez and Gay, and they'd send 2 at Gomez to try and nullify Gomez, and they'd just leave Gay.
Yeah, you can have it. You can have it. Yeah, exactly. Don't
get me wrong, there was games towards the end of the season like Cardiff, you had to destroy Cardiff that day, but against other teams, that's why I like Gomez and all that. I was a bit, I want us to sign another midfielder as well.
Yeah.
Because I do feel that we still lack that ability to break sides down consistently. You've got to have different options. And I think if you roll out the same midfielder Gay and Gomez this season, I think Gomez will step up a bit more, don't be wrong, and Gay's obviously improving as well. We may still have some issues in midfield. I think in March I did say in one of my articles that they were the lowest creative midfield in the league at the time. It did change towards the end of the season, but they do need to. I'm not saying they need to get 10 assists this season. They just need to contribute in terms of chances created.
Correct. Well, look, Gomez has shown in flashes. I mean, that goal against Wolves. I mean, he can strike a ball, can't he? Off both feet as well. So when he does get in those sort of positions, he's not afraid to have a dig, is he?
We've seen some of the goals he scored his time at Valencia. He scored some absolute belters. And I think with him, we've mentioned Gomez already in terms of with a full pre-season under his belt, he's going to be up a level again, isn't he? I think
you'd like to think so.
We saw him fit and started. He had a good start of the season, fell away sort of over the November to sort of January, February time, as a lot of the team did, to be fair, and then sort of had a resurgence later on in the season, didn't he? But there's big things to come. But I think one thing a lot of people are looking at currently, and after the game with FC Sion, with the Karabanghi Sharks, and I mean with the training games, that's what they are. Let's take them for what they are. Let's not blow it out of proportion. But we're looking at that top end of the pitch, aren't we? What are we doing about that? And there's been quite a few names linked over the last few weeks, I'd say. The one which sticks out for me in terms of most gettable is probably Malcolm. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Well, Malcolm's a fantastic player. I did a scout report on him about 2 months ago. He's one of those players he can play the way we play, so we obviously get to go fast up the pitch, we can play on the counter attack. He also offers us that ability, whereas if you don't have that in the field, he can break a team down, much like a Bernard, but he can also add goals. If you look at his last full season board, he got 12 goals, 7 assists. He created 60 chances in open play now. I know that's the French league, but for example, Gylfi and Bernard were our top creators in open play this season, both got around 40. So adding them three together, that creativity, you add another facet to our play. So he would be, I think Barcelona have to sell because of the wages that and the Neymar money that's going to be coming. The fact they're going to have to pay out for Neymar and Griezmann, so they will have to get people off the wage bill. So hopefully we can get them for 35, 34, 33, somewhere around that range. But it depends what Marcel Brands wants to do. Obviously we've been linked with Nicolas Pepe, we'll talk about in a minute, and Bertrand Traoré as well. I think for me, Malcolm would be the best option. I think he's a gettable option, but we'll just have to see what
happens. Would it not be a loan with him?
I can't go loan. So basically, with the work permit, he hasn't played for Brazil for the national team. You have to play a certain number of games. I think Brazil in the top 10. So you have to play 30% of the games over the last 24 months, 18 months.
Yeah, he wasn't in the Copa squad.
No, he wasn't. No. So what happens then, it goes to a point system. So basically the fee makes up a lot of the points most of the time, especially with him being about 30 odd million. Then you get the wages, get points, and then it comes down to how many games you played. So take away the fee, because there's no fee with a loan. It comes down to wages and games played. And if you look at his games, he never played enough games in the minutes in the Champions League last season, or in the Liga to qualify. So he wouldn't be able to get a loan away. But the agents have looked at getting him a loan in this country, but they just can't get the work permit, so it has to be a transfer to get it over the line.
There's rumours, Arsenal are looking at jumping in on the deal if they can't do one for Zaha.
Arsenal's such a strange team, aren't they? How much money have they got? Because they said at the start of the summer, they told everyone they had 45 million to spend. They've got, I think, bids for the centre-back from Etienne Saliba. They've signed Martinelli, who's an 8 million, but then they've got, looking at Zaha, who knows what Arsenal... I think SCB be a good backup option in terms of Zaha, because they do need a winger, but...
I think Malcolm, I agree with you. From the clips I've seen with him, particularly at Bordeaux and stuff, he gives us that something different. I know Silva clearly wants a left-footed right winger, but he's got that nice balance about him, hasn't he? He sort of glides past people with ease, doesn't he? You kind of know what he's going to do, come on that left foot, but he still beats you. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And he likes a shot again, doesn't he? His stats have shown that. But for that sort of money, his age, and if you read up some of the reports on him, his attitude's supposed to be absolutely bob on as well, isn't it? Which is, for some South American players, not always the case, is it?
You need that. That's important with when people will into Diego Costa. That I wouldn't really bring Diego Costa into a dressing room like Everton's at the moment. He'd be quite a divisive figure. Yeah. He got banned for 8 games last season for calling referees mum, whatever. Yeah. He's a straight. You know what I mean? He needs it's important. Character's important. I've spoken about this before. So someone like Malcolm, as you say, who's got good write-ups and that. Yeah. And as you say, with that ability, he is very left-footed. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But he knows he's got all the moves to get onto that left foot. Whereas someone like Traoré doesn't have that same level of like sort of now what's out to get onto it. So yeah, I think Malcolm is probably the one for me. Yeah.
There was a great tweet about Costa today, wasn't it? Something like, oh, he would be absolutely amazing for the fans at Everton, and in all of 15 minutes he'd be on the pitch.
Imagine in a derby, he'd be off inside 10 minutes in a derby, but let's
thank God for it. Like that's something that Evertonians like all that. But
yeah, they do.
You need to be smart about this.
That's it. When his aggression's positive, he's unplayable, isn't he?
Yeah,
I remember his first game for against us at Goodison. Oh my God, I remember that game.
He's
killed us, didn't he?
Then runs, just make them. He's declined really. If you watch him for Atletico now,
he's
not the same player.
Yeah.
It's not sad really yet, but he scored one goal last season, 2 goals the year before. It's just not the same player.
Yeah. So you're not going to waste our time with that kind of signing, are we?
What do you think of Malcolm, mate?
I think it's ideal, isn't it? You know, imagine if you've got a 3 up top, sort of chopping and changing in terms of Bernard, Richarlison, Malcolm. Listen. I'll pay to watch that. I'll pay millions of pounds.
3 Brazilians you'd have there, wouldn't you?
It's good marketing. If you don't want to try and market themselves in that sort of sound, the Samba tree, you could call them yes. That'd be an idea.
It'd be like Wigan when he signed all the Spanish ones with like Martinez and his mates and all that years ago. Like the sombrero and things like that. We could do all that. Outside.
Get the drums out. Get the drums going, a bit of samba.
But if Malcolm's that player we do bring in, does DCL go out and Richarlison goes into the centre? Is it?
I think that's what he wants.
It depends on the team, because certain games you need that physical presence of a Dominic Calvert-Lewin, don't you? Against certain teams, and he does offer that ability to hold the ball. Now Richarlison can hold the ball, but it's nowhere near the same level. So I think you could rotate them. Then Richarlison can go on the left, he can go on the right. I think that's what we need is options more than anything. Is show people different looks. I know everyone was still excited towards the end of last season when we then 10 or so games that we were really good, but then you saw against Crystal Palace we struggled to break them down, like you said before, and then so you need to be able to play different ways.
We absolutely hammered
him. What are your thoughts on Calvert-Lewin? Because we talk about him a lot. We're big fans of him, big fans of his work rate, but a lot of Evertonians just feel like he's not got the quality when it comes to finishing.
It's composure, yeah. So if you look at like top strikers, he's got ice in the veins, haven't he? When he gets in front to go with the ball, with a header, he's a great header with the ball.
He is.
With the ball at his feet, starts to panic. It's not
natural, is it?
So you look at Harry Kane. Harry Kane's got this amazing side step where he creates an angle for shot because he's a natural striker. Dominic Calvert-Lewin hasn't got those things in his locker yet.
So can that be coached?
I think to a certain extent, yes, but it's also on the player, because a lot of it's self-improvement. Harry Kane, for example, I'm not going to say he's going to be as good as Harry Kane, because he will be, obviously, but that he's a lot of self-improvement, and he needs to work on it. He's 22, nearly 23 now. Yeah. It's time for him to make that next step this season.
But he used to be a centre mid, didn't he?
Yeah.
This is what we've gone back to ourselves, and it's whether you can turn a centre mid into this prolific, like you say, ice in the veins striker. It's so difficult.
Not just that, it's the movement as well. Like you look at Richarlison's goals, he comes alive in the box. Like that goal against United, I mean, he sniffed that out and he's in the right place. And I mean, what a finish as well. Yeah. If that would have fell to count, you just couldn't imagine him scoring that.
Don't forget, according to James Souness, that should have been a foul because his foot was out.
yeah. Cheers, Graham. Yeah. No, but yeah, I do think Silva does want to play that withdrawn striker. And then have Richarlison maybe a bit further away from the centre halves.
So he can run at them basically.
Correct.
Panic.
Yeah.
As soon as he gets on that ball, starts to panic because that's why he's out on the wing at the moment because he gets the ball more. But if you look at the stats, I think he scored 4 or 5 goals, depending on how you look at the Burnley game when he came in as a sub. Yeah. In 12 games, it's not a bad ratio for centre forward. It's like 15 goals. People go, we need a 20 goal scorer. Yeah. 4 players scored 20 goals last season. It's not easy to find them.
No, it's not.
So it's more about getting the goals. So Dominic Calvert-Lewin got 12 to 15 this season. Would be great. That'd be perfect. But it's whether he can do that or not. Really.
Yeah, and his attitude's spot on. And the other thing, in certain games as well, he does stretch teams, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's willing to run those channels all day long.
Yeah, he can get an outball to him, and he can hold the ball for players to catch. And that's key because the ball's not coming back all the time. They're under pressure, which works against top teams.
Yeah. It's a bit of an adaptation, I think, for a lot of Evertonians because we've all got a love of the classic centre forward, haven't we? Yeah. Holds the ball up, wins a header, bullies centre halves.
Well, it's from Bob Latchford to Ferguson, isn't it? Like, all that era, they all live in the night, don't
we? Even sort of last season, we still wouldn't. I know our thoughts when we were speaking, and we all love a good centre forward. We all love players like that. And like you say, Pete, it's the mind's just trying to do something.
Football's different now.
He's trying to play a proper 4-3-3.
I think it's time to move away. I think Everton, we all grew up watching Everton. I love Douglas Ferguson at the time, but I always hated the style of football we played because we had to play that certain way. And I think Everton, we loved that, the blood and thunder. I think we just need to adapt. The fans need to. I think we did under Martinez to an extent. Second season it started. Why we passed it around so much and stuff like that. I think Silva, because he's slightly bit more direct. I think the fans will come round more to the style. And I think when Richarlison does start scoring when he's centrally, think people say, oh, he's a centre forward. I just think there's a bit of a hesitation, as you say, because we are used to that big strike.
That's such a good point, because there's times where I've been at Goodison and we are just keeping the ball because the forward passes and honouring that, and it's some people just absolutely hating it.
Forwards!
Yeah, it literally is just like, just get it forward!
I know! It's in the ball 50 yards to nowhere.
Straight for a goal kick.
Yeah,
I used to love the way he used to just hold his hand at that and just float it out for a goal kick. He loved that little float, didn't he? And the first bounce would be in the Gladys or something like that.
Or just run up and smash it down the keeper's throat. Yeah. One of those, yeah. But I think that there has to be a sort of, the fans need to be not educated because they don't be, but we need to get used to the idea that we do need to be more patient on the ball. I don't know if you've seen any of them stats that came out the other day. Everton only averaged 3.2 passes per possession in terms of getting the ball up the pitch, so we are one of the more direct teams.
Exactly.
And we are one of the fastest teams in terms of getting the ball up the pitch. But I think sometimes we probably would be better if we just took that extra pass, maybe worked out.
That's what Gomez, to be fair, does give you.
He's a metronome,
because he's naturally wants to go forward every time, doesn't he? That's a great way of putting it. He's a great way. He does. He always looks for that forward pass, and I think hopefully he'll add that.
I'll say about Andre Gomez, people I have not criticised him, I guess, but I have questioned him at times. The lad's got world-class talent. There's no doubt what he is. It's just here up in the it's his mentality. It's not. He sometimes plays within himself, and if he can get the confidence back, like he was at Valencia, like you said, it'd be a great sign for him to sniff for a player of his talent. So just hopefully we'll get the best out of him.
The game that sticks out for me was the one at Anfield. Obviously, the infamous game there. I thought he was outstanding.
He ran the game.
He basically, the vast majority of it, he ran that.
Destroyed teams because the ball carrying,
even the cop-out commentators, the ones on the student, they couldn't get enough. Even Redknapp and that were purring, weren't they? Geez, who's this lad here? You know what I mean?
Trying to sell him halfway through the game.
Yeah, they probably were.
Spurs, come on.
They were literally, remember that? Yeah.
But there was a scout, wasn't there? There was a scout from Spurs that game.
Yeah, that game. Yeah,
it was fantastic, that game. Andre Gomez, and that shows you what he can offer, and that's what I think personally is what we're going to see more of. Like him controlling that midfield a little bit more than he was last season.
So who do you think, just touch on that front three while we're on it then, so who do you think, do you think Bernard will start left?
It's a bit, as I said, off air. There was that interview came out, didn't it, with the Portuguese newspaper that Silva did, and one of the wingers was like a Bernard, like someone who can get close to Sigurdsson, draw the full back in so Dean can get down the line and start creating from there, and he likes to do it once again in the box. So I suppose it depends who comes in. Realistically, if Malcolm comes in, you might not have to play Bernard all the time because you could sort of add that creativity and close to Sigurdsson. Or you could play Bernard and Richarlison, or you can play Bernard and Malcolm and maybe have Richarlison, not saying as a 10, but more as a second striker, just withdrawn from That's the options it would offer.
As a manager, then, to have all that would be perfect.
That's perfect. You could do different looks, because then I think people look at us in 10 games last season. The managers will be preparing for that style of play from Everton this season. So that's why I worry we can't just rely on that one style of play. So hopefully we'll have.
I worry about that. Everyone's going on about how easy these fixtures was. Look, Premier League, nothing's easy. We battered Palace at their gaff, but that was a different stage of the season. They're going to be well up for it. First game, the place will be bouncing. We're not guaranteed to walk in there and walk that game, are we, by any means?
I know fans think we're going to get like 18 points out of their 6 games. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, 100%.
Obviously, I think that we'll we'll push top 6 maybe. If we have an unbelievable season, we can push 5th, maybe 4th. Depends on how the top 6 goes. But just we need to offer those different options. We need to be able to break teams down because you don't want to lose your first game. I guess so Palace will probably sit behind the ball.
Another name we threw in the mix there for attacking players was Nicolas Pepe. It's been rumoured for 52 million.
Yeah, I think it's been more. I think they wanted 60, to be honest with you, which is a lot of money, especially for Everton. Now, if it's me, say Everton were one player away from the top 5 or top 4 or whatever, you go, let's get Nicolas Pepe. We need a lot more than that. We need to be a bit more quantity as well as quality in certain places. So, but he's a fantastic player. He's got 22 goals last season. I think it was 11 assists. He comes in off the wing, he can cause problems.
He's big, but 6'2", something like that.
Yeah, he's good. If he can play front as well, he used to play front when he was at Orleans and before he went to Lille. And he's a good player. With him, as I say, it's 60 million. I wanted Everton to sign him last summer. I'd seen him the year before. He scored 12 goals the year before.
Right.
I think he was available for 15 million. So we'll look at that one season jump.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And that is where I think Marcel Brands will be looking at and going, I'm not paying 60 million after for just one season of he's a good player, don't be wrong, but
in the French league,
the French league, there's two sides. So it is the most physically similar league to ours. Players do transition quite well from it, but the goals, as you see, sometimes they don't really translate in terms of performance. So Thauvin, who's great in France, but when he was at Newcastle, he wasn't so good, was he?
Yeah.
So
that's the worry in it for that sort of price tag off really one main season really in that league, isn't it?
it's 25 million more than Malcolm would cost you. You know, I think that's the consideration that Everton have to take. Obviously, if we get a lot of the wages out, then maybe he might be an option. But I think if the price came on the 50 million, then we'd probably definitely consider it. Yeah.
Is Malcolm a definite then? Because a lot of some people saying it's just like
I don't know. It's logical. I've heard that he is on the list because I can't imagine why he wouldn't be. And it is logical from what we want. But then, I've also been told Bertrand Traoré is one that interests them, partly because he played in the Premier League before. He can make more of instant impact. I don't.
He struggled, didn't he? He struggled a bit last
yeah, and he played well against against us the season before. That famous game. But he's a good player. It's just that his consistency's not there. He doesn't press that well.
We'll want that again, imagine it. Imagine the all the dads kicking off.
That's run around. He's got the ability. He got consistent performance out of him. He could score 10 goals in the Premier League, but it's whether I think with Malcolm or Pepe, you're talking about another level of player. Pepe also at one point. Is there much sell-on from that 60 million? I'm not too sure on that. That's a consideration. Malcolm, if you get him, Malcolm could be a 60-70 million pound player if you get him to his best. So that's
the difference with Richarlison, isn't it? Because even though we paid a lot for him, let's be honest, we sold him now. We'd make money on him.
80 million,
easy now in today's market. After the Copa America as well, things that I think that proved to be even though we destroyed the transfer market. Proved to be a very good
fans don't want to hear about selling players and understand, but that's the lifeblood of a lot of teams now. It's reality that Barcelona and Real Madrid coming from Richarlison, we're going to try and get 120 million off them, aren't we? And then we'll buy 3 players and we'll try and improve our team. That's just the way it goes, unfortunately.
Well, what do you make of some of the other guys we've been linked with then? I mean, we've been tenuous links with the likes of like Rafael Leao, is it? And then obviously Moise Kean as well. Because Leao's, I've heard you speak about him. You really rate him, don't you?
Yeah, he's one of those players. So when you see, he's just natural. He's a natural scorer. We say about Dominic Calvert-Lewin, it's natural inside the box. Yeah, it is with him. He takes these touches that just take 2 defenders out, and he gets the shot off. Yeah. He's not prolific, by all means, but you can just see he will be. For me, I know this is a bit of a bold statement. I've said he'll probably be one of the best centre strikers in the world in a few years. I really do believe that. Yeah.
What are you talking? What are we talking price-wise with him?
35, 40, really, yeah.
So it's still a big outlay, isn't he?
And he's only, 20, is he?
Yeah, just turned 20, yeah. He's a really good player. And last season, I think they paid 4.5 million because what happened in sport with the fans attacking the players and stuff like that, all the big fallout.
So where's he playing his football at the moment?
He's in Lille in France with Pepe. He's playing with the front four with Icone and Bamba as well. Really good front four, to be fair. But yeah, the problem with him, again, is that they play Champions League football this year, Lille. So maybe his agents will say, stay another year, show yourself in the Champions League and then see where you go. So we'll see. I think that's why Keane with the Raiola link as well, because obviously he's Keane's agents and Marcel Brands and Raiola are quite close. That's where maybe, and Juventus are trying to sign,
Cardi, aren't they? Yeah,
I don't know why.
Because Inter have just signed someone, haven't they? Now
I think it's going to be a domino effect, don't they?
Higuain's also looking to go back to Juve. Whether they'll have him or not, I don't know.
They tried to move him to Rome, and West Ham have been interested as well.
Typical West Ham signing. Higuain and Balotelli was linked to that. That's the biggest typical West Ham signing.
That's the problem though with West Ham, is that they looked at a Sebastian Haller, who'd also been a good option.
He's supposed to be a talent, isn't he?
Very good player. He suits. He's like Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the fact that he can do the same similar things. Work rate, but he's a bit more skillful, a bit better inside the box, scores goals. So he'd be an option. Maybe they don't want to hinder Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so bring in any younger striker like Leao, like Keane. You can sort of rotate them in and out. So I suppose that's an option, but. Yeah, with West Ham, Higuain, when he came in January, I just knew he wouldn't do it in the Premiership. Maybe 5 years ago if he came in.
His movement's very good, isn't it?
It is.
He hasn't got any. He's never had pace.
No, and that's the problem. You can't. When we were linked with Maxi Gomez, I think he went to Valencia recently. That was my issue with him. Pace. If you come from another country, you need to get either big, like Llorente, to work out, or fast. The middle type players sometimes don't work out in the Premier League. Unless you David Silva, of course.
What's the script with Keane? Because again, it's another situation where they're looking at. Was it? Did I see a 2-year loan deal today again?
But that's me saying that. I think the way it would work would be 2 years, because basically they have a buyback that'll activate after 2 years. If he does well here, they're just going to go and then move from somewhere else.
Similar to what happened with Deulofeu.
Sounds exactly the same. And a lot of teams do that. Real Madrid are well known to doing it as well. Like they did it with that Mariano Diaz, who they're probably going to loan out this summer. They always do that. But yeah, I think what will happen with Keane is if we did get Keane, Raiola likes Everton, surprisingly. I know he tried to move Lukaku, but he wants to sign a new deal instead of going to Manchester United, because he didn't think that Manchester United were the right club. Okay. I'm not too sure whether he's a big fan of Mourinho or not. And when obviously his mum got involved and all that nonsense happened, he went to Manchester United. So I think he'd like us to have Keane, because we'd raise his price, we'd develop him, wouldn't we? And then that would be
Do you think Everton would want to do that? You know, like take that. I mean, you're getting obviously potentially, you know,
it depends on how much the buyback is, doesn't it? Really, because you know, if you get it for 30 and the buyback's 50, then 20 million. You're getting money for that. You're getting that money to put on a new striker. If it's 40, you can make it 10 million. It's like
they were talking 31 and then 40 buyback, weren't you? You think to yourself, you know, is it really worth it?
It could be because he came down and scored 20, 25 goals.
It's like any transfer to gamble, isn't it? It's for a young kid as well to gamble.
He's very raw as well, you know.
He's
wanting again. He's like sort of the opposite of like, you know, someone who's like really refined. He hasn't, you know, he's like Lukaku in a sense, but he hasn't scored. You know, he's always in the right place at the right time. Takes shots.
He's powerful for a young lad.
Strong, runs really well. You know, he's dribble, a bit rough around the edges, but again, we need someone who's in the right places all the time, and he could be that person. Hopefully, you know, if he was sitting here on August the 8th and we've signed Malcolm and Keane and Delph and Gomez, you'd be quite happy with Zuma as well.
Zuma as well, yeah. We would be. I agree with that.
Well, you mentioned Zuma there, and it's a perfect link. You know, that's one position that we do need to strengthen because we've lost Zuma currently. We've lost obviously Jagielka, leaves us with Michael Keane, big McGregor. My mate. Yeah. Gerald Mina. By the way, my fancy team this season is called in
Big McGregor, isn't it?
No. It's called Mina Colada. So
that's
just in reference to
your favourite player as well.
Yeah, to our Gerald there. So we've got those two. Holgate's come back in. He's played quite a bit the first 2 games over the pre-season, but it's definitely a place that we've got to strengthen. My number one pick, I think we were in agreement, weren't we, is getting Big Kurt Zuma back. It's number one, and because he fits in so seamlessly. But you know, he's got to wait now to Japan with Chelsea. He's in that sort.
Well, Lampard's going to want to have a look at him, isn't he?
That is the issue. Everton can only wait so long, so it becomes a point where it's up. Basically, the way it's worked out is Everton probably have already spoke to his agent, so Everton knows what his demands will be. The player's gone back to Chelsea. He needed to speak to the new manager. The Chelsea needs to tell him what they wanted from. And if Lampard can't say to him, "You're going to be one of my first choice," which he realistically can't because Louise, Christensen, Rudiger's there. You can't really guarantee him. So it's all up to that. It's then on the player to say, well, actually, I'd like to go back to Everton. And whether that happens, whether Frank Lampard's got to otherwise, that's what needs to happen. And that's the difficult part. How long do you wait is the question.
Do you think without getting personal about it, we could potentially find out what kind of man Kurt Zuma is this window if he chooses to stay at Chelsea, not having the promise of first team football, or come to Everton where he's loved? He's coming off the back of a great season and he'd be well integrated into the squad.
I think that is an important point. Yeah, whether Kurt Zuma, you know, it depends what false promises are made to him, I guess, because you know the manager could say to him, "You are first choice." 6 games in, he's played 2 games. That could happen. Because I think Rudiger is out, so I'm not too sure till the start of the season or not. So he could play the first few games and then.
Because I'm telling you now, if he drops David Luiz, Frank Lampard's got the problem of an upset dresser.
Yes, because he's you know. Again, as well with them, he's got Tamori. He was at Derby last season. You know, he'll think Lampard's the manager. I want to play under him, but so they've got a logjam at that position. So Zuma should probably look at the European Championships in a year's time. I'm getting back on the France team at Everton.
Good point.
That's a consideration to me, and I think he enjoyed his time at Everton. It's just it all depends on Chelsea. He has to push for the move.
He's been there long enough and had that many loans. He surely must be thinking, look, this club's a roller coaster. I might as well go somewhere where they're trying to build a project. He knows the players now. Clearly fitted in well in the dressing room, didn't he? He seems like a great guy, doesn't he, as well? You know, judging by his character and everything else. I think we'll get him. I do think we'll get him. I think it'll be a bit later on, but I do think we'll get him.
Originally I was told it would be the next, like you'd find out the next, like this was 2 weeks ago, the next like about 2 weeks, so it'd be the end of this week. It's sort of you'd find out, because I know he's going to Japan, but he can still move. You know, he can still fly back. There's no, you know, it all depends on what's said to him, I guess. It's just whether how long Everton wait. Do Everton wait till August? I don't think they will do, because you need to start betting players in, don't you? And my real concern is if we don't get Zuma, is we're probably going to have to start the season with Keane and Mina, who are really similar types of defenders. They really were better suited next to someone pace who can cover him behind as they used to beat the man.
And bear in mind, Mina's only just finished playing in Copa America.
She's got a couple of weeks off.
He's still off. You're not going to see him probably till the last week in July. Wouldn't have thought back at Finch Farm. You know, we play on the 10th, is it 10th of August? You're going in with very, very little pre-season there. You know what he's like with his injuries and his feet in particular. It's it's a valid point. He suffered. No one wants to do well than me, and I truly say that. Mina Colada. You know, I'm going to bladder the fancy league with that name, but I want us to do well. I really do. But such a valid point. Do him and Keane really work together? Probably not. So Michael Keane was fantastic. again,
he had a good season.
Second half of last season, thought he was absolutely terrific, and
yeah.
getting that Blue Blood award from the chairman, and obviously he went through quite a bit in his first season with the club. He's held in high regard. He's
won the fans round, didn't he?
Yeah, I was quite sceptical of Keane. Like this first season was one of the worst seasons he ever centre half. Like, and that's not partly it's not his fault because he cut his foot, didn't he? He
did.
Septic foot or whatever he had. So I didn't know that at the time. And the only problem with Keane is he's very solid, wins every header.
Yeah,
you know, he's good defender. Sometimes gets caught out and the ball goes over his end to space. He's not great, but then again, you've got to cut him some slack as well. He came from Burnley. They basically sit very deep in the deep block, in the low block.
Had everything.
Basically, two narrow centre halves. You only have to defend the penalty box, nothing else.
Yeah.
Whereas Everton, higher line, you have to defend either side.
Yeah. That's out of his comfort zone, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So he's now getting more used to it. So, still personally, I think Mina and Zuma would be much higher potential partnership for me going forward. I think they're like Keane, but I think them two are better players. But we'll see what happens.
Well, the outlay on Mina, you know, we spent big money on Mina last season, so you would think that Silva sees him as the one for the future. Michael Keane was bought by Ronald Koeman.
Yeah.
So he's not a Silva sign, so but Mina is. But if we don't get Kurt Zuma, who do we get? Who's on that list?
It has to be someone with pace. So like you look, you know, I was told William Saliba is going to go to either Tottenham or Arsenal. Sadly, he's only 18, but you know, you need someone with that agility, that pace who can cover. You know, I always say the best centre half partnerships are your Vidic, Ferdinand. Vidic is your stopper, he goes to meet the man, he wins the headers. You know, Ferdinand is your ball playing centre half, you've got the pace. Carvalho, Terry, same thing. That's right, my ideal. Like Ramos, Pepe again. So you know, all them type of players. That's perfect for me, and I think. You look at, for example, Brighton, you've got two big towers at centre half. They always get beat, you know, look at Richarlison, he scored that goal, he pushed it between the ball.
Yeah, of course he did,
That's a concern. So, with Zuma in the side, you need someone to replace Zuma. So, I think we've been linked with Karim Rekic today, who plays for Hertha Berlin, who's at PSV, came with the Man City Academy.
Is he that type of player?
He's quick, 6'1", covering behind, quick, good on the ball as well. So, he'd be someone, he's strong as well, to be honest with you. Good one-on-one defender. Llorente's been mentioned as well. He's not as quick, but he's a finesse defender. You know, he's very classy on the ball.
Right. Oh, I don't want them. Remember John Stones in front of the park end.
Is he a bit more like Laporte's type then? Is he?
Yes, a bit similar to that. Like that type of Spanish centre half. He's 6'1". Yeah. So that type we've been linked to. So it'd have to be someone with pace. There's a lot of good French defenders, though. To be fair, they've got like 15, 20. It's very good French defenders. Yeah. So you know, Moussa Niakhaté, who plays for Mainz, he's left-footed. He's another one I like, who's quick, covers in behind, can defend in space well. So it depends what. I would like to see us play three at the back often, especially with Zuma, Keane and Mina. I don't think that's
it's not blend.
I think if it was Holgate, Zuma and one of the other two, that'd be better because again Holgate's that quicker player.
Holgate plays a lot better in a three.
He does.
He's safer.
It's his positional awareness that lets Holgate. He steps out too early. You know, there was a Tottenham game. I can't remember. It was 2 seasons back. It's just awful. He just kept stepping out at the wrong time. And he's
on the ball. He's good, isn't he? He's very good on the ball, isn't he?
He sprayed the ball through midfield. I think it was where Theo Walcott missed last season. The ball went to Sixton, slipped it into Walcott behind. It was the early in the season, and he missed sadly as he often did last season. But so that ball playing defenders very key now. You know, we want that. You know, Keane was much better on the ball last season. Really impressive on the ball. So
he was
adding some more of that. But hopefully it's Kurt Zuma. I'm a big fan of Kurt Zuma.
Yeah, I agree. I think the pacing is bang on because. You know, particularly against fast, quick, mobile forwards, Keane, he can't turn quickly and he gets turned inside out dead easy, doesn't he? But you are right. Any sort of balls that are put in there, I mean, I don't think he hardly ever loses a header, does he?
No, surprisingly, Kurt Zuma won more headers last season. You wouldn't watch those.
Yeah, watching the game.
So sometimes stats can be, you know, they offer the other sides to it. But again, Keane is that imperious centre back who's just always there to head the ball. Great clearances as well. He's always in the right position to clear the ball. So that is an in the box type defender. He's great. It's just that when you get pulled out into the channel, that's when you start worrying about.
But he did make the best tackle since. Like Beckenbauer on Mo Salah, remember that tackle?
Did Mo Salah touch the ball a bit too far?
We're being
great tackle, mate. Great tackle, mate.
It was great tackle,
Great tackle,
You know, we had 3 men on his back when he was that tackle.
But it just, I think it shows with him, as you say, what it's been a good turn now for Michael Keane, and you know, it shows what kind of man he is. I think over the course of the summer, when we mentioned this when he was in California and he got all the
he's a base the
fans and.
The fans will love that. Yeah, rightly so as well. You know,
just a nice fella, really, you know, and some maybe too nice, some might say, but you know, he hasn't half come on. But
I think on the pitch he can be quite ruthless for me. I think he can be quite, you know, he's quite a strong defender in the sense he's not like someone who's just like waiting for someone to run past him. He's always putting his body on someone. So yeah, it's difficult to know where everything going to transfers. Obviously, a lot of people are starting to panic now already because we've got 3 weeks left to the window, you know, ends and. people start getting nervous. And but you got to trust brands, haven't you? Really?
I'm surprisingly relaxed.
I am as well, and that's the brand effect, isn't it?
Yeah, the fan in me usually be like, oh, we're gonna, we're gonna nothing to the start of the season. But no, I think brands has got a list of names.
Yeah.
A lot, obviously the AFCONs are at the moment, so there's our players away for that. Sangari's away in the AFCON actually as well, so in terms of that.
The culture of the transfer window seems different now as well. I mean, even if you look at, say, City, United, Arsenal, Tottenham, Chelsea, none of them have done big business, haven't they?
I think it behooves teams, as you say, that it is a change in the window. It behooves teams to wait in certain ways, because obviously once these big deals go through, the clubs are going to have players. Like I know Tottenham looking at Ceballos from Real Madrid on loan. Because Real Madrid are signing these stars, then them type of players come available towards the end of the window. So I think
it's a waiting game.
And brands look at inefficiencies. I know someone complained to the other day, why is he signing rejects from Chelsea and Barcelona? Well, if them players are best than what we've got, then they're not really any rejects. It's an inefficiency that he's spotting in the transfer market, and then he goes, I'm going to play for 35 million. That if he had, if he's had another team and had a good season, he'd be worth 60. So that's smarter. Yeah. And I think that's what look at team. You know what I mean? You can't.
I mean, what player he's been?
He couldn't play in Barcelona's system because they're a very possession-based team. You put him in Everton's team where it's a bit more direct. Fantastic player.
Yeah. Exactly. Look, if we were seeing images in the back of the Echo now of Steve Walsh in his little suitcase and a cappuccino, I'd be very worried. But with the great, I do think the brand's effect. He brings that assurance. He's done the role for years. And I think there's a clear, with the amount of people we're shipping out as well, not just selling but on loan, I think there's a clear, very much, look, get these out, and then we'll look, as the market develops, we'll start to bring a few more in. I think you'll see a lot more in the next...
I love Marcel Brands. I did like a big piece on him last year. Like, really into it. He's just a smart man. Yeah. Like you look at PSV now. Like they've got Pereiro, got Lozano, they've got Bergwijn, and they've got De Jong. De Jong's gone to Sevilla. The other two wingers, Bergwijn and Lozano, might go as well. But he's already got that youth system players ready to come in. He's already foreseen what's going to happen. So he's got Cody Gakpo, he's got Ihatter, and I think Brands mentioned for Everton a couple months ago. And he's also got Donny Marlon as well, so he's ready. He thinks in advance. So we look at, we don't want to talk about selling players, but Gay, he's ready probably for Gay to leave in the next 3-4 windows. He'll have a plan for that succession plan. So, and also I like the fact he started moving those young lads out. The under 23s, they all need to start getting good loans.
I think people have said, as much as the under 23s, and we're obviously fans of what Unsworth has done in terms of the success he's had. Some have said maybe the under 23s are sort of being held back a little bit because they're not getting that exposure to league football, are they? Because playing in the Championship or League One is much better than playing in the 23 development.
If you spend 3 years at the under 23 level, you're basically facing the same people or under 18s who are coming up into that level. Whereas a Championship, you're facing a 35-year-old, Morgan Feeney, for example, you're facing a 32-year-old striker who knows every trick in the book. You're learning from your mistakes, and you can't buy that experience by keep playing in under 23s. I think poor Nathan Broadhead, who's nearly 22 now, has been there long enough, or he's with the first team today and see on. But I think he needs to go out on loan to get something, same with Feeney.
100%. But it's not just that, it's the fans they're playing in front of, isn't it?
Exactly.
They're playing in front of 20-30,000 fans who've paid their money, they expect, that's the pressure as well, isn't it? Rather than playing in front of, a handful of people who are mainly bloody family or whatever.
Scouts generally,
exactly.
Family,
so that brings its own pressure. There are some decent sized clubs in the Championship with big followings.
It's worked well for Kieran Dowell, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's a good link to have with Derby. I think you can send maybe Bruce Gibson there or someone, to try and get some games there. John Joe Kenny, of course, has gone to Schalke, hasn't he? I think that's a good move for him. It's a completely different style of football.
Massively,
So hopefully he can come back a different player. Whether it works for him when he comes back and plays for Everton, or we sell him, maybe Schalke want him for a good price, that so be it. Can't hold on to Matty Pennington's forever, 24 It's time for a change.
You can be too loyal sometimes. What's everyone's thought, speaking of youngsters then, of the whole Lookman thing? It looks like he's definitely growing there.
100%. 100%.
And did you think the same?
I love Lookman. I think we'll regret the fact that we're getting rid of his talent, but if you look at the way it's worked out, there's just no, Bernard's a silver player, Richarlison was bought by, he's not going to get in the team, and you can promise him first team football, it'll just end up happening what happened this season.
Do you think he wants to play though?
Yeah, I think he wants to play. If you give him, when he played for Leipzig, I know everyone questions his attitude. When he played for Leipzig, he came back really happy from Leipzig. He scored 5 goals in 11 games, whatever it was. He was really good at Leipzig. Came back, wanted to move to Leipzig. We said no, you're going to play next season for us. Played less than 1,000 minutes. I can understand his frustration. He's 20, basically came
still
to
liked him though, didn't he?
He does like him, and I can understand why, because the talent's there. But if you look at this is a problem I have. It's like same what happened with Josh Bowler. You bring these lads who are starting to play for their team in the Championship or League One. The star players in Lookman's case for Charlton. He comes in, he's just not. He's on the bench. Well,
fair enough. He only started 2 games last season. But there were times I saw him come off the bench for us. He had a good 15-20 minutes, and you just felt like he never took his opportunity. And for me, that was about attitude.
It can be, but then I always say to him, when's he ever had a 5-game run where he can learn from it? Say he has one bad game, he plays 3 good games. We've never had that. It's always, he's got 20 minutes, and people are like, he's never done it in the 20 minutes. But I know you're more analytical on that, but it's. I can't expect someone to come off the bench from the cold. Sometimes he's been sitting in the stands, and then he comes on the next game. Yeah. Can't expect him to just like run the game. And Tottenham at the end of the season came on, changed the game for us.
Yeah, he did.
He has got that game-changing ability now.
He's got great feet, hasn't he?
Fantastic feet. You look at his stats. They are small sample size. Great dribbler, good passer.
Yeah.
I think he'll do well in Germany.
Shoot with both feet.
Shoot with both feet, exactly. Yeah. So I think Everton lose, but I think just in terms of Silva, obviously, some like High Redknapp, for example, he wouldn't mind a player who doesn't try and train. Play Carno every week, for example. Basically cried off everyone because he was sick or whatever. But whereas the Silva's place going, you've got to be 100% in training. And obviously, Charleston works hard, Bernard works hard. I think it just doesn't mix the margin. I think it's time for him to go 25 million. Who else are we going to sell for 25 million? Let's be honest.
Do you think we'll get a sell on though? That's the key for me.
I think we'll get 10%, 20% sell on for it.
Which you'd have to do, wouldn't you?
Yeah. As you said, he's got bags of ability. You really has, and I love Lookman in terms of what he can bring. And when you've seen him at times, even the FA Cup at Anfield, that game we got beat 2-1.
Well, he broke for the Sigurdsson goal, didn't he?
He was fantastic. You know, he does do it, and that's the thing. That's the frustration with fans, is that you've seen it in fits and starts. Like you say, when you ever got a 5-game run, when you ever played consistently, whether he's been good, bad, or indifferent in the previous game, when's he been given that chance across 3 or 4 managers? I'm in a camp, I do question his attitude. I know when he first came up from London, he didn't settle. Was he in a hotel for 12 months? I think I heard, which is not ideal, is it? You know, when you're trying to, that doesn't show commitment to me.
No,
you know, if you come into a club, you put big money on the line for someone from
He's a young kid though, isn't he?
He's only
an 18-year-old kid and he's lived in London all his life, and suddenly
it's a big change.
It's Ron Koeman as the manager. Remember what Ron Koeman's like, he says, he did an interview, so he said he had a great relationship with Barkley. I've heard completely otherwise, allegedly, I'll say. That him and Barkley did not get on well, and he criticised Barkley continuously. So
eroded whatever little confidence he had left.
Yeah, so you've got a Koeman, right, and then you go to Unsworth, who's got 3 or 4 games if he wants to manage your job. He's not going to, he played a couple of young players, but he's not going to go all in with youth, because that'd be stupid, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And then you go to Sam Allardyce, who, he only plays experienced players. That is his, that's why we signed 2 players, 26 and 27, 29 or 28, whatever Walcott is. Yeah. That wasn't going to work. And then you come to Silva. Silva's got his standards in training. He bought 2 players for that position. I think it's just a tale of that. It's just not the right fit for Everton. And as I said before, saleable assets is important to Everton in the sense that we can't sell Morelos for more than a couple of million. We can't sell Blassie for more than a couple of million. So to get a bit of money in on Yukoru, and of course Lookman will have to go out. And if we can get players in like Malcolm, Pepe, Keane, whoever for that money, we're going to be better off, and he's going to be happier as well.
I think you're right. I think we have to be astute now in the market. He looks like a Dortmund. He looks like Atletico. You've really done that really well, haven't they? Yeah. And there are other clubs that do it very well as well. I think that's because we haven't got European footy. We've got to be clever, haven't we? Yeah. I think with brands in there and all the connections you've got, I think we've got every chance of doing that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a busy time with outgoings, especially the next sort of few weeks. There's going to be probably, I'd say 2 or 3 more to the door, in my opinion. It's about reducing numbers, isn't it? That's the key. But also, we've said this before, getting in the right players, better quality, and improving that squad. Not just having 15 players who could play, having 20 and you could all slot in, and we can play, as you said before, and we can change up how we play as well. Yeah. And that's going to be key. But I think it's going to be it's going to be relaxed for me in terms of the window. I'm confident that the right deals will come up, and the right men are in the right place to get those deals over the line.
Yeah. Well, before we finish then, what's everyone's thoughts on who we think we are going to get then? For if you're saying we're going to maybe sign 3 or 4,
I got Van Die's lead.
Go on, who's your reckon?
So. I'll put my positive hat on. Yeah. I think it'll be Malcolm, but we'll see. It could be Bertrand Traoré. I know he is at one that Everton are considered due to his Premier League experience, and he will cost less than Pepe and Malcolm. So it'll be one of them, possibly one of them 2. Then I'd say it'd be maybe Keane, maybe on loan, I guess. I'm not too sure whether Juventus will sell him this summer. I'm on the fence. So maybe Keane. I can't think of another striker we could sign. Really, it's such a weird market for strikers. I'll say Zuma. I think that is going to happen. I'm maybe being a bit positive, but just think. If you look at it logically, he needs to play football. The Euros is next summer. it's time for him to play. I think that will happen, and then Delph obviously I think is going to come in as well. So I think they'll be the four that come in. I hope there's a right back maybe.
I was going to say right back. Do you think there's anyone? There's not really been many linked, have we? We've not been linked many.
Kenny Tete, he's going to be available probably on loan from Lyon. He's not a bad player. I think he's a very client as well. Yeah. Arias possibly be available for that. So they could be loan options as the window comes to a close.
Yeah.
I think that'll be more of an idea. Or you can play Holgate there as a backup, which if Cullen gets injured, it's a bit of a tough.
He's starting to show a bit of his form again, Seamus, wasn't he?
Yes.
Towards the end there.
Well, in February, I thought it was going to replace Coleman in the summer.
Yeah.
And then he suddenly got those legs back because his crossing skills are great, but he was much better in the second half of the season, which I thought give him another year and a half, and then we'll see where we are then.
Yeah, he's loved by the fans. I mean, if you are going to be semi-critical, his delivery, if we could have a Digne style right back, a bit like dare I say Trent is across the park. Whipping those in from both sides. His crossing that he really lacks, doesn't he? Really
that is a concern, and also passing out of tight situations. That I always talk about. You look at like the best right backs in the world. They are capable of picking out people in the middle and breaking the lines. Seamus Coleman's more if you hit the byline cross, it's sort of fall back, I think. Yeah. But then again, Marco Brand's also likes the fact that Digne plays much higher up the pitch, and sort of that right back can be sort of another third defender. You know what I mean?
So you're not going full on Martinez.
You don't both go at the
full on
you don't go both at the same time. So it is sort of sort of how he calculates it really. But yeah, I think we'll be alright at right back. Maybe we'll get a loan and we'll see.
Mike,
I think Kurt Zouma. I've got to say Kurt Zouma. I hope he comes back.
Yeah.
Like you said before, he's the first choice. He's the obvious choice. Whether you get him now or you get him in 3 weeks, he slots right back into that dressing room, that side, no problem at all. Obviously, Delph's through the door, isn't he? Pretty much all bar the announcement video from Everton. I'm gonna say we'll get Malcolm. That's my one that I think. I don't think, to be honest with you,
we'll get a striker.
I don't think we will. I don't think we will. I just think that you go with Calvert-Lewin and he let's say to Richarlison. Yeah, I'm going to play you central. That's what I think.
Particularly if we get Malcolm,
Yeah, I think so. We're still being, I think, still more dynamic with that, with Malcolm coming in. I think obviously a lot depends on if Aziz Gay goes. If he goes, he's replaced as well, by the way. So if he does go, Sangare, whoever will come in. The right back one, maybe alone, maybe not. I think Holgate seems to be featuring. And he's in his thoughts. So
he'd be minimum fourth choice centre half at minimum, and obviously back up right back. So
that's my pick.
Pete, similar.
I think if after Gomez and Lossell we bring in Delph, Zouma, Malcolm, I'd be more than satisfied with that as a window. But I'm gonna put my neck on the line. I'd have Diego Costa.
Pete.
I would. He throws that in there.
I'd add Diego Costa to that.
Pete loves screaming. He's number 9.
I'd have him.
Number 9. You'll have Costa on the back of your shirt.
Because whether he starts or not, he guaranteed goals.
No, he's not though. This is that.
He starts out, Pete.
No, it's not the start. You look at.
I do agree. His legs are gone.
You look at it from. If he was the Chelsea Costa, I'd be
100%. We're
salivating.
Yeah.
But he's lost that yard of pace. He's not the same player. I understand why people want him. He does represent what Everton.
The cult hero.
Hey, I'm not saying go out and spend 30 million. I'm saying
put a 5 million.
Yeah, if we could have him for a season on a loan or on the right deal, I'd have him.
I'd like that Squad Madrid fans celebrate when I said that we might possibly. When I saw about him, he was celebrating that he could be leaving. He was a cult hero. This you just say how bad he's got. It's. Yeah, I hope he was China himself.
I agree with that. Zouma definitely. Obviously, we've got Gomez in already. Delph's coming in. I think Malcolm. I think we're all in agreement with that. I think the boy's got enough talent. He's a good age, and he just gives us that something different. He's a bit more dynamic, a bit more pace. I think he'll score goals as well in the Premier League. I just think he's made for that sort of level. I'd like us to take a bit of a gamble and go for someone like a Moise Kean or a Liao maybe.
Tell you what, I'm going to put you on the spot, Lee. If we don't, would you take Costa or not?
Would I take Costa?
So say we get Malcolm, but no other striker.
Genuinely, no. I actually think if we get Malcolm, I think it'll either be then Calvert-Lewin or possibly Richarlison for me. But I think if we were going to get someone, then someone like maybe a Keane or Liao who are like 19, 20. Then we're actually potentially buying someone that could be absolutely.
So if it was a choice between Costa or not, you go not.
No.
He's too much of a disruption in that dressing room. He's far too much. He's an absolute clown.
Remember when he started taking training off Martinez? Is Marco Silva a well-enough manager to sort of corral him in that sense? I don't think he'd respect him enough. That's the problem. He's not, Simeone's that really commanding presence. It's different there.
He wouldn't take any message.
That's the problem with players like that. You've got to bring them with, with the right attitude. Don't get me wrong, I understand from the point of view Costa or no one. Every Everton fan's going to say Costa because we're scared of not getting that striker.
I'm going to say no one.
I just want to see him kicking people in that.
Come on, people have a fight in the 1970s. Jesus Christ.
Flashbacks.
So yeah, so look forward to there, because anyway, if he comes through the bloody door on the last day, bloody hell.
Saying that, what will end up happening is he'll go to Wolves, score 20 goals, they'll get 40 something more. That's what happens.
If that happens, he'll be playing this clip for years to come. He'll be going back. It's not that time.
No one's ever going to say Costa. It's impossible. I didn't want Gareth Barry. When people say don't want David, I was like, Gareth Barry's finished. I love Gareth Barry.
What a player though, majestic player.
I'd love him back as manager one day when he gets his badges and
fantastic
player. I agree with that.
McCarthy in that midfield, that first.
That's a sad state. McCarthy, Paul McCarthy, he's just not the same player. He was fit for the whole second half of last season. Couldn't even get in the squad. So I think he'll be on the move as well.
It's a waste, isn't it? That someone of his ability, but he just breaks down so often, doesn't he? It's such a shame.
It's the way he plays the game.
It is, yeah. He's just
so good that first season.
Oh, he was unreal. Him and Barry were absolutely brilliant, weren't they?
Yeah, perfect. But in one thing's for sure, it's going to be a nice, busy end to the window, lads.
Yeah.
So, Andy, thanks very much, mate.
No worries. Cheers for coming on, pal. Yeah.
Conversation. And we'll be back probably post Bramley Moore images. I would have thought July the 25th.
Wave,
the blue wave's in town. Big Dan's going to rock up, so we'll be back to discuss that, and we'll be on the eve by that time of the new season, so we'll catch you then.